I have this growing suspicion and kind of fear about what is going on with industrializing the gaming hype. Gaming hype was one of the last things that a lot of different people have been critical, myself included, of course, we're on the channel here, we're talking about it. Critical of, seems like a lot of companies here lately have had things to show, but then don't want to show. I'm looking at you, Capcom. I'm looking at you, Resident Evil 9. All of my hype for this game has almost been smothered. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game, but all of my hype for this game has kind of been smothered at this point because they keep showing the same demo over and over again. That creature is not even scary. The creature who I think is Grace Ashcroft's mom, Alyssa. I think the creature is her mom. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's her mother. I've thought that since the first time I saw the trailer or the demo with the creature in it. That stopped being scary after the first run. I don't think that's scary anymore. And the creature itself, I've lost all fear. Some jump scares will get me, but other than that, I have no fear of this thing crawling out of the ceiling after me. I know what you gotta do. Hit some lights, run. A light switch isn't gonna work. That did work. All the gimmicks and stuff are there. I want to see some gameplay. We thought we were going to see some gameplay at Tokyo Game Show, but then they just had some local personality just playing the demo with, the director and another guy who I forget what it was on stage with her. That's it. We all stayed up till almost 4 in the morning, or it was 4 in the morning for some of us. For that was it. Come on, man. So that and some other things we thought we were going to see at this point, and this is not sour grapes about not seeing a thing. I'm patient, I can wait. But I want to talk about the Game Awards Inc., which is Jeff Keighley's gaming company, or the people that put on the Game Awards and Summer Games Fest and get contracts to do ONL, Opening Night Live, all that kind of stuff. I have this growing suspicion and kind of fear about what is going on with industrializing the gaming hype. Gaming hype was one of the last things that we could kind of cling to as fans, right? It's one of the last things that we could cling to that was free of charge, right? And it was, I would say 70% to 80% of the gaming industry is the hype around it, because we wait for years for a game to come out, and we're usually done with it in a couple of weeks. We'll remember it fondly sometimes, and other times but a game on average takes 3 to 5 years to make, and sometimes a game as soon as it goes into development. Sometimes you don't know till it's halfway through development. So we're hyping a thing for 3 to 5 years, looking forward to it, waiting for a screenshot, waiting for a trailer, waiting for anything to come out. That was always free of charge for us, the hype was. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. I have a marketing background, not in the gaming industry, but I have a marketing background with production companies and other stuff like that, and I did that for 10 years. And the things I see, the writing is on the wall with the marketing and the messaging and everything else, that I think these companies have contracts lined up with the Game Awards, specifically Resident Evil 9. I think there are things in place with the Game Awards Inc. that will, make companies not be able to show a thing until the Game Awards, until Summer Games Fest. And of course, there are contracts in place to get something on a big platform like that. But the part I'm worried about is that this is the first company to understand how they can monetize the hype. Monetizing the thing that was free of charge to us, that was one of the best things about the gaming industry, the hype. The pomp and circumstance of all the different things. And I think this is something that's been developing for a while. It started with the death of E3. E3 was a place that all companies could go and show, and we could get free live streams into the things, and the PlayStation events, the Xbox events, the Nintendo events, and all the different YouTubers and vloggers and like internet news websites and stuff that would just flood E3 and go to this show and be live from the booth. Like, you remember G4, X-Play, all that kind of stuff. They'd be live from the booth here, live from the booth there. Easy Allies, back when they were game trailers. Game trailers fell apart and, you know, cobbled into Easy Allies before a lot of those guys left and stuff. But you know what I'm saying. Like, there were many entities. But what is happening now is Jeff Keighley's the first one to kind of start to monetize this thing. As E3 started to die, I'll never forget the smiling by the tombstone meme of Jeff Keighley with E3. It was like, hey, don't forget to tune into the Game Awards or Summer Games Festival. It's like, E3 was a great platform to yada yada yada. Check out the Summer Games Fest or check out Game Awards or whatever it was. You all know the one I'm talking about. You know the one I'm talking about. That was the beginning. That was the beginning. There was a way to cash in on this hype, to privatize it toward one show. And I'm not hating on it. This is not me hating on it. This is me coming to you all being like, I think this is why we're not seeing things how we would have seen them before. These state of plays are very boring now because these other companies, subsidiary companies, third-party companies and stuff that aren't owned by PlayStation, that aren't owned by Xbox, or like your Square Enixes, your Capcoms, your Konamis, your companies like that, the big third-party publishers, they are not beholden to show things at these state of plays and stuff anymore, even if they are timed exclusives. They're not. I don't think it's in their contracts. I don't think it's in that. I think so for Resident Evil 9, Capcom probably has a thing signed with the Game Awards Inc. that we are going to show at Game Awards this year, and maybe Square Enix has something signed with them too. I'm sure it's big business for them. Jeff Keighley and his company, it's big business for them. Monetizing the hype. That's what this all comes down to. We will see something new at the Game Awards. I almost completely guarantee it. And it's because there's been this little, like, breadcrumb kind of situation throughout. The only show that has gotten new stuff for this after the initial announcement, right? Well, the announcement was Summer Games Fest, so I take it back. I take what I was about to say back. The announcement was at Summer Games Fest, and they had like the whole thing worked up, like the joke, the you won't have to wait too much longer joke. And then at Opening Night Live at Gamescom, we got they made you wait the whole time. The whole time. It was featured at the end. And he's even come out and said on stage, I got to see this whole thing and it's crazy, and lots of people have gotten to see the whole thing, I'm sure. Like your big YouTubers and stuff have probably already seen it, but they've signed NDAs and I haven't seen anything. They've seen it. They've seen it. That's how this business works. That's how they just know things as soon as embargoes are released. Oh, yeah. Oh, that thing you said was right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. NDAs work that way. NDAs work that way, people. So we will see something at the Game Awards. They had something at Summer Games Fest. They had the announcement. They had the little one-off like scene with her mom at the end of Opening Night Live at Gamescom. They will have something at the Game Awards. They couldn't even show anything at Tokyo Game Show. That's telling. They had the director up there, they had the other dude up there, and they had that personality there. And all they did was talk. They showed a couple of screenshots, which was cool, of the back streets of Raccoon City. They showed a couple of screenshots, and then her just playing this demo that we've all seen ad nauseum. So that we will almost definitely get a Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 trailer. I think that's absolutely happening. There are other things, another Konami remake announcement probably happening at the show. Why do I say these companies? These are third-party companies. Capcom, Square, Konami. You can throw other ones in there too that aren't owned by PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. These companies are doing this business on the side You know, that's totally fine for them to do. But I'm saying, the reason we're not seeing things to be able to be hype about things, like why these state of plays are falling flat, why all these little one-off aside kind of shows that come out, oh, there's a thing Thursday, 2 days, and then you watch it and then there's nothing. That's why. Because these companies are contracting their big announcements out to the Game Awards Inc. And there will be other companies like them. There will be other companies like Jeff Keighley's company here. They're going to have the leg up because they were the first one to get out the gate on this. I applaud them for that. That's big business. That's doing big business things. I like that. I like that mentality. But stay tuned, because the monetization of gaming hype has only just begun. I could almost guarantee, well, I don't want to say that, but I would not be surprised within the next 2 to 3 years, the Game Awards starts having a pay to stream kind of thing. You know, you want to be behind the scenes, we're going to interview this creator, we're going to interview Hideo Kojima again for the 10th time this year, you know, or something like. He's going to talk about his favorite movies. He's going to talk about how much he hates making video games and how much he wants to make movies. Let's have us sit down with him. You know, there's going to be all kinds of stuff like that. Don't be surprised if you have to pay for that stream. Don't be surprised when we all come out and say that's ridiculous, nobody's going to pay for that. And then don't be surprised when everybody comes out and pays for that. Don't be surprised at all. It's coming. The monetization of gaming hype has already begun, so here we are, we're living in it. So that's why we haven't gotten a lot of the stuff. That's why you're going to see a lot of the big announcements that aren't owned by the PlayStations and Xboxes and Nintendos of the world, and Xbox. Who knows how long they're going to be around. I mean, that's not looking good itself. But anyway, that's the point for another video. But anyway, there it is, right there, Game Awards. It's not really an awards show. It's condensing all of the gaming hype from the year and for the next year to 2 years to come into one show. And when we did Summer Games Fest, we did a live stream for Summer Games Fest back this summer, I told you all, I was like, we're going to see where the future of gaming is going, dependent on what Keighley and his team decide to focus on at this show. Mark it. Go back and watch it. I told you all that. After Expedition 33 came out, it was a shift. It was a paradigm shift in the gaming industry that happened. That team made that game, that happened. Keighley took note. He made notice. And then everything they featured, if it was an independent project, he made sure to let you know how many people were on the project, where they were from, what they were doing, and what they were presenting. Getting you to know these independent. So he's not controlling that narrative, but he was like putting it out there, presenting it for you, so that they can say, hey, look, we're on this indie train with you all. That's where the game industry is going. And that's what this is all coming to. Controlling the gaming hype, monetizing the gaming hype, and then being able to control where you want to see things going. Being able to control the narrative to a degree, to guide, not control the narrative, but to guide the narrative, right? To trying to influence the gaming industry itself by putting a spotlight on independent creators, which is amazing. I think that's awesome. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just showing you what's going on by watching the marketing and reading the winds as they blow. Guiding the narrative for where they think the future of games should go. Because as an independent creator, if you're creating a big platform, if you're creating a major monolithic platform, like they're doing with Game Awards Inc., you're doing that. And you're championing all these indie creators. These indie creators want to get their project in front of as many people as possible. Well, we showed you off. Now if you want to really get your project out there in front of as many eyes as possible, come back to us. Here's our tier list for fees for being featured on our shows. Which one would you like to apply for? It's big business. It's big business. It's business 101. The fact that they've been able to find a way to monetize our hype is a masterclass in business. Like, in a way, this is what media and I'm not. This is nothing bad. I'm not damning this or anything like that. It's the new direction of media and publications covering things. You know, the newspaper died. Websites are dying. Jeff Keighley getting in front of people with video and social media on this and finding a way to monetize it, not directly to us. We're next. Like, we're next. Don't get it twisted. We're next. But to be able to build a platform and to show this is how many viewers we get, this is our reach, that's what you want to do when you're marketing. This is our consumer base, this is our reach, this is what we're moving toward, and this is our goals for the next 5 years. We're projected to grow by this much. If you want to get on board now, it's going to cost you this much to be on our platform, to promote to this many people and this many sets of eyeballs. It's big business, baby. They got it down, man. They got it down. So I realized this was happening. And again, I've got no data to show you. You're just going to see it. People are like, what are your sources? What's your sources, sir? I need sources. You don't need sources. You just need to watch with your eyeballs and pay attention and learn. That's all you got to do, and you can see it. There will be no sources for this stuff. The company exists. It's an incorporated company. They're making money. That's all you need to know. Boom, period, end of story. That's what's happening. It's wild. It's going to be wild to see what the future of the industry looks like. Hype was kind of the last thing we had, that was free. I think that will be monetized very soon. Capcom's already kind of doing it. Capcom's trying to get on that. They're going to have like a streaming service for their competitive tournament events for like Street Fighter and stuff like that, fighting games in general, pay to watch kind of thing. I know a lot of you all messaged me about that. I haven't looked into that myself. I kind of did like a glancing look online, and everything you all sent me was legit. That's happening. So I need to look more into that. I'd like to talk about that sometime with you all. But anyway, what do you all think about that? The monetization of our hype. It's fine as long as it's just companies paying for ad spots on a show. That's always been there. That's always been there. E3 used to invite people to show their thing as a guest or whatever. Now people are probably having to pay to get in front of this audience. Some people are guests that are invited, of course. Others are going to have to pay to play. I think that's where their monetization structure is going to come from. So we'll see what happens. But I will draw the line if they start charging us to watch these things and everything is closed door. That's where I will draw the line. That might be when it's time to hop off the train. Anyway, hope you all have a great day. Please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. Throw a like on the video. Share it around. Share it around like you share your favorites. If you like the content I make, feel free to share it. Champion the channel. It's because of you that people will see me. So I appreciate you. Appreciate the hell out of all of you all. Have a great night. Be safe. Be good to each other. Keep rocking. And I will catch you all later on live stream. We're going to play some tactics. I'll catch you later.